All right, let's talk about one of the biggest decisions a company can make. It's a choice that literally separates the giants of industry from, well, everyone else. We're diving into vertical integration. And it really all comes down to this one simple question, right? Should you make your own stuff, or should you just buy it from someone else? It sounds super basic, doesn't it? But trust me, this make versus buy dilemma is one of the thorniest, most high-stakes puzzles in the entire business world. You know, this used to be a question for the operations folks, kind of tucked away in a back office. But not anymore. I mean, in our world of constant disruption, pandemics, shipping crises, you name it, how you answer this question is your business strategy. Your supply chain isn't just a background detail, it's your secret weapon.
So, the formal name for this whole idea is vertical integration. Really, all it means is a company deciding to take control over more pieces of its own supply chain. At the end of the day, it's about asking how much of our own destiny do we really want to control.
Now, you can think of this as moving in two different directions. A company can move upstream to control its supplies. We call that backward integration. A perfect example is Tesla deciding, you know what, we'll get into the lithium mining business ourselves. Or it can move downstream to get closer to the final customer. That's forward integration. Think about Nike opening its own stores instead of just relying on other retailers to sell its shoes.
And here is the absolute heart of the issue. It's a massive trade-off. There is no free lunch. Making things yourself gives you incredible control over quality, your intellectual property, and speed. But, and it's a big but, it costs a fortune and can make you really inflexible. Buying from others is cheaper, it's easier to scale, but you become totally dependent on your suppliers and open yourself up to all sorts of risks. There's just no single right answer.
So, to really see this in action, let's look at three absolute titans who have mastered this game: Apple, Tesla, and Zara. What's so fascinating is that they each play it completely differently, but they all use their supply chain strategy to win.
First up, Apple. They are the undisputed masters of strategic control. They've perfected this amazing hybrid model where they obsessively own the parts that truly matter and smartly outsource the rest.
Just look at how surgically they approach this. The design, the very soul of their products, that is 100% in-house. It is non-negotiable. Their custom chips, the engine of their devices, well, they design every last transistor, but they let a partner handle the mind-bogglingly complex manufacturing. The actual assembly of the iPhone, they outsource it to experts like Foxconn. But that final crucial interaction with the customer, they own that completely with their beautiful retail stores. It is a masterclass in controlling exactly what counts.
Now, if Apple's approach is like a surgeon with a scalpel, our next titan, Tesla, is more like a crew with a sledgehammer. They took vertical integration to a radical extreme, and in doing so, they completely rewrote the rules of the entire auto industry. I mean, just look at these moves. They didn't just partner for batteries, they bought battery companies. They didn't just build factories, they built gigantic gigafactories for manufacturing at a scale nobody had seen before. They've even gone all the way back to securing the raw materials from mines. And by integrating their software and hardware so tightly, they built a car that's really more of a sophisticated computer on wheels. And this quote explains everything. It gets right to the heart of their strategy. They believed that to build something truly revolutionary, they had to build it themselves, from the ground up. They couldn't disrupt an industry by using the same old suppliers that defined the old guard.
Okay, for our final titan, let's switch gears completely to the world of fast fashion and its undisputed king, Zara. For them, this integration strategy isn't about luxury or tech. It's about one thing and one thing only: speed. Zara uses this incredibly clever blended model. For the trendy, high-fashion items that have to be in stores right now, they make them in their own super-fast factories in Spain. But for the basics, the t-shirts and simple stuff, they outsource that to lower-cost manufacturers in Asia. This, combined with their tightly controlled logistics network, gives them an almost unfair advantage in the market.
And here's the unbelievable result. 10 to 15 days. That is how long it takes for a design to go from a sketch pad to hanging on a rack in one of their stores for you to buy. That speed, made possible only by their integration strategy, is precisely why they dominate the fast fashion world.
But before you run out and decide to buy up all your suppliers, we need to talk about the dark side of control. Because as we're about to see, more integration isn't always better. In fact, it can be a really dangerous game. The downsides here are really significant. It takes enormous amounts of capital.
It adds incredible layers of management complexity. And maybe most dangerously, it can make you slow and inflexible. When you own the whole chain, it's like trying to turn a giant container ship. It's much harder to pivot to a new technology or a new market. You risk becoming this big, insulated giant that misses what's happening just outside your walls.
So here's a crucial takeaway. Success isn't just about having the money to buy up your supply chain. It's about having the capability to actually run all those different businesses well. Capital without capability is just a recipe for a very, very expensive disaster.
So, all of this brings us to today, where the very idea of vertical integration is evolving. You see, the future isn't just about owning factories anymore. It's about orchestration.
Because today, integration is just as much about data as it is about physical stuff. Having visibility and control over the information flowing through your supply chain can be every bit as powerful as actually owning the trucks in the warehouses yourself.
And this new reality opens up a whole playbook of alternatives to full-blown ownership. Companies can use joint ventures to share risk, lock in long-term contracts to secure supply, or use digital platforms to collaborate with partners. You can get so many of the benefits of integration without the massive cost and inflexibility of owning everything.
Which leads us to the new paradigm. The choice is no longer a simple black or white decision of make versus buy. The smartest companies today are becoming orchestrators. They're building flexible, hybrid systems that blend the assets they own with strategic partnerships and powerful digital platforms.
So what are the key takeaways here? First, and most importantly, your supply chain design is your competitive strategy. Second, integration has to be an intentional, calculated decision, not just an emotional desire for control. Third, remember that control creates power, but it's flexibility that ensures survival. And finally, modern strategy is all about blending the physical, the digital, and the strategic.
And that leaves us with one final, big idea to think about. The goal is no longer just to build a linear, efficient supply chain. The smartest companies today don't just build supply chains, they build ecosystems. And that is the real future of the make versus buy dilemma. Thanks for watching.